Divinity is found within. When you go deep enough into any subject that you're passionate on, whether that be music, whether that be art, whether that be sport, whether that be nature, whether that be a highly intellectual, such as chess, quantum physics, biology. But divinity and God is also found in the simple present moment, within the breath, within the senses, the way the sun feels on your face. See, God is found deep within. Divinity is deep within. And it needs to be nurtured. It needs to be given attention. All of your attention. And if you can give anything all of your attention for long enough, consistently enough, you will find God. You will find divinity. Oftentimes there's been talk of these dark retreats lately. Basically, you go somewhere where there's no light. You have to learn how to create your own light. And there's many lessons that we can draw from this. Many people afterwards, they say that they had to go deep within. That afterwards, everything looks beautiful. That's true. Everything will look beautiful when you deny your senses. When all of your focus is elsewhere. All of your focus has nowhere else to go. You're not spending your light. You're not spending your energy anywhere else but within. And that's what we need to do. So if somebody focuses on their breath long enough, what you'll find is how long your attention span is, how deeply you can actually focus. And most people can't even get to 20 very slow breaths. Try it, it's hard. It's not easy. So I challenge every one of us. How long can we focus on even one thing? How deeply can you go into one thing? And the body reflects the mind. The body gives us a blueprint of how we can change. So every time that we build our body, we stretch a muscle, we grow a muscle, we feed it, it becomes stronger the next day. This is the same process that we take in any endeavor in life. We can learn from the gym, we can learn from changing our bodies because it lays out the blueprint and we understand the body. So if we wanted to grow a bigger muscle, we would first properly hydrate. We would feed our body the food that it needs. We would give it some sort of intense stimulus. And we would go to sleep knowing that our muscle would grow. We would go to sleep knowing that. There wouldn't be doubt. There wouldn't be fear. All of these things that sap our energy. So is your energy going to the material world? When you fear, when you doubt anything, it's going somewhere else outside of you. Whether that be money, relationships, health, the big three, of course. It's where most of our attention goes. Other ones that kill our dreams. Things like pleasure, things like comfortability. You get so comfortable, maybe you're even just thinking about how great it feels to watch this TV show. How great it feels to scroll social media. And it does feel good in the moment. But we just spent all our energy on it. And now we don't have the focus to focus on what matters. And that's who we are becoming within. As above, so below. Everything that we are inside of us gets reflected out back to us. We only have so much time on this world. And even in our limited time, we only have so many chances to be consciously aware of what we're thinking. Most of the time, we're on autopilot. So when you get those rare moments, those moments where you take back control, that's when you can choose who you want to be, and you don't want to forget it. Jesus had a wise words. I always think about this. He said, let your yes be yes and your no be no. If you're going to start it, start it. If you're not going to, don't do it. But you have to commit. And if you truly want to find God, you have to look within. And you have to be able to sustain your attention. Whether it was going to rain today, whether the birds are going to be singing, whether your job lays you off, whether somebody else comes and ruins your day, you have to remain focused on who you want to be. If you want to be more loving, kinder, more joyful, see everything that way. And don't let something control your focus. If you don't control your focus, the world will control where you focus it. And you likely don't want the world controlling your focus. You will never become who you want to become. The world will never get the gift of you being the most unique version of you that you can possibly be. See, every time we stretch ourselves, every time we do things that are hard, we grow our mind, we grow our body, we grow our connection to divinity. But it takes practice. Just like if you were trying to squat 300 pounds, well, first you might start with 100 pounds or wherever you're at. Maybe it's just learning how to squat, learning the fundamentals. Then you would progress 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 100, 150. It would take time. You would ask yourself every day, what do I need to do to progress? You would go to sleep knowing that your muscles are going to recover, knowing that the next day you're going to get even stronger. When it comes to other areas of our life, we don't take as much intense action. It's very easy in the weight room. You have a weight. It's very easy to measure. You have certain instant feedback. You either pushed yourself hard or you didn't. You hit the weight or you didn't. It's very well established by science that when you go to sleep, very beneficial for the muscles. There's lots of people knowledgeable on the subject. But when it comes to vanquishing our own fears and our own doubts and things that are less tangible, how do I find love? Well, how much are we giving to love every day? How do you love yourself? Are you becoming stronger within? Are you building up your self-respect, your self-trustworthiness? Every time we tell ourselves something in our head, we're becoming more trustworthy, and we do it. Every time we willingly do something difficult that requires a lot of focus. See, it's often the things that require a lot of focus that we find difficult. But afterwards, we're always so happy that we did. I've never heard the phrase that, oh, I regret doing that meditation. I regret that beautiful hike. These are things that are just not said because they require energy, they require focus. Yet we often don't do them for that exact reason. Yet when we stretch ourselves in those ways, when we can meditate even deeper, even further, it doesn't always have to take more time. We grow the mind. And then the next day, if we fully let our mind rest and we sleep deeply, and many sleeping issues are simply a cause of people not being able to let go, to trust God, to trust divinity, Instead, we're overthinking things. We're worrying. We have anxiety at night. We're thinking about everything that's external to us, even our body. So when we let go, we stretch our mind in that meditation and we fully let go. We can rest assured knowing that our mind is going to be stronger. We're going to be able to create new thought patterns. This applies to anything. But we have to train our focus in some way. So whatever it is that you love to do, whatever it is that you currently love about yourself, that you love to do, that you naturally find yourself spending time on anyways, start there. Be fully present. Don't be reactive. Love it. If it's a sports game, love it for the game. Love every play, whether it goes for your team or against your team. If you love eating food, take your time with it. Enjoy every single flavor. Notice how it affects your brain. Notice how it affects your heart. Notice how it affects the rest of your body. Whatever you do in the present moment, give it all of the energy in the present moment. For this is how we find divinity. This is how we find God. We value our time. We give our time the full energy that it requires. And we get more time back. We get more energy back. When we smile on the world smiles on us. When we love everything around us, it's an incredibly beautiful day. We get more and more beautiful days. What we notice becomes us. Choose to be the person that you want to be. Go deeply, stretch yourself, grow. The only way to be as uniquely you as you could ever be is to find out how you are in the high moments, in the low moments, everywhere in between. But most of us, we live our lives right in the middle. And the world will have a way of stretching us. But often we perceive it as a negative because we notice the negative. It hurts. Pain is the ultimate reason why we take action. So when we go into these lows, it's the way the world kind of gives us a kick in the butt. You need to be progressing. You need to be moving forward. It's the only constant. Absolute zero doesn't exist. Things always have some sort of motion. So the question then becomes, how do we progress? How do we make this happen faster? Well, it comes down to your attention. It comes down to the energy that you are giving the world, because the world is just going to give it right back. You have the choice to turn a loving action into a hateful one, and you have the choice to turn a hateful action into a loving action. Now, what happens around you, you don't always get to choose. Life wouldn't be very fun that way. But we always get to choose who we are on the inside. So every moment, if you have true faith, if you have true belief that everything is good for you, then you will see it that way, and the world will reflect it back to you. But the moment you forget, the moment you spend too much of your energy on something outside of you, whether that be junk food, sexual pleasures, those are two of the most common. Steals a lot of people's energies. But it could simply be getting too wrapped up at the gym. Even something that could start as a positive if you become too obsessed with it. If you start to dictate your mood based on what happened outside of you. You didn't get the lift. The run was maybe a little harder than you wanted, maybe a little easier than you wanted. Maybe it's raining, so you couldn't even go on the run, or you didn't want to run in the rain. That upsets you. Well, now you're turning a good, the desire to improve, the desire to expand, and you're turning it into a negative because you're contracting your mood. So we will always want to be growing, spreading more light to more people, giving to the world as much as we can. This takes discipline, it takes focus, and it takes training. Forgive yourself for any mistake. There's no point. Shame is going to steal a lot of people's energies if you don't forgive yourself. We all make mistakes. We all forget who we are. We all forget who we want to be. There will be moments in the day where you remember. Forgive yourself for every moment you forgot. It doesn't matter. What only matters is the present moment now. And can you give that your full attention? Can you give the full moment, the full you? Because the only way the world will get to experience the divine pleasure of your unique self, the beautiful gift that you have to share the world, is if you give the present moment as much of you as you can give it. Try and focus on your breath. Count every breath slowly. See if you can get to 100. See if you can get to 120. This is one way we can train our focus. And the stronger that our focus is, just like if you have a strong spine, your posture naturally becomes good. If you have a strong set of shoulders, they're naturally down and back. So too, when you train your focus, just like you would train any other organ, just like you would train your muscles, stretch it, grow it, feed it the nutrients that it needs, fully rest. Your mind will reward you. You'll naturally attract the life that you want. Everything that you're reflecting from within. You start to see people differently. People start to see you differently. You might see the trees around you differently. It doesn't have to be people. You might appreciate the pavement beneath your ground. You might appreciate the soil. You learn to appreciate even the hardships. Wim Hof, he certainly appreciates the cold, doesn't he? Most people don't. So that's the beauty. When you stretch your mind, you learn to appreciate even more. And this gratitude shines on the world. And you start to shine on the world as well. So be the most unique you that you can be. Whatever you enjoy, you will find God. You will find divinity. Go deep. Give it all your focus for as long as you can. When you forget, forgive yourself. That's how you make the most progress in any goal. That's how you become the person that you were meant to become. And that's how you give the world the most unique you, the most divine gift that you could give the world is your perspective. I'll end on this. There's a story of the 4-minute mile. Basically, for a long time, nobody could run a 4-minute mile. It was the biggest psychological barrier there was in running. But all it took was one person to show the world that it could be done. And very shortly afterwards, all of a sudden, many, many people started breaking the 4-minute mile. And if you look today, there's so many people, it's not even a psychological barrier anymore. But that was the gift someone gave the world. He was so focused on running. He was so focused on proving that it could be done, that he shined that light for all the runners that came after him. So within every one of us, we have some unique gift that we can share the world. And the world is going to be so grateful that you shared your unique gift. However, we must remain focused. We must remember that. We must remain in gratitude. We must go out and do everything that needs to be done and remain in the state that we want to remain in. If we want more love in the world, how many actions can I take today? How much time can I take in that moment, in that state? How loving can I be? How intensely loving can I be? How much more can I give to the world? If this is always on your mind, the world has a way of giving us everything that we need to accomplish that. So give the world your gift. Find God, find divinity. It's within, and go as deep as you can possibly go. Thanks, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.